Alright, so for this video, I'm going to be talking about the subject of astral projection and some of the stuff that I do in order to go out of body and some of the thoughts that I have, about the subject, right? But the first thing that I want to talk about is that my method that I use in order to go out of body, I call it the XRV method or the X-ray vision method. And basically what you're going to do or what you're going to try to do is that you're going to try to catch yourself after you wake up from a dream, and you're going to try to see your surroundings through closed eyelids. Or in my case, what I do is I have a sleep mask that I wear, and it's completely opaque, and you can't shine light through it necessarily. You can't see anything once you put on the sleep mask. But basically, what I try to do is I basically try to see my surroundings through my sleep mask in order to get X-ray vision. And usually, what will happen is that after I get the X-ray vision, I'll be able to basically leave my body by physically moving my body. It'll feel like a physical movement whenever I get out of my body, but basically the thing that you're trying to do is that you're trying to catch yourself after you wake up from a dream. You're not trying to enter a dream with awareness. You're trying to catch yourself in the moments after you wake up from a dream. And once you do that, you're going to try to see through your closed eyelids. You're going to try to see through your sleep mask in order to get that astral vision, in order to see things with your astral body. And then once you do that, once the imagery becomes clear enough, and that's the main thing, is that you need to get the X-ray vision to be clear or vivid enough for you to actually see your surroundings. And once you do that, then that means that you've shifted into your astral body. And so any physical movement that you do, you're going to be moving your astral body instead of your physical body. And there's been some times where basically what'll happen is that I'll be able to see the X-ray vision, and then I'll physically move my body, but then it turns out that I wasn't in my astral body yet. And so whenever I move my physical body, it'll disperse the imagery, and so I'll have to try again in order to see the X-ray vision, in order to sort of amplify it, in order to try to make it vivid, in order to try to focus on it enough to the point where my attention or my consciousness shifts into my astral body, and then I'm able to leave my body, right? So that's the basic technique that I do. And I think that this is something that is a very, different. It's a very different approach than a lot of people have. It's a very different approach than I had whenever it came to trying to get lucid inside of my dreams, trying to go out of body. Is that usually I would try to enter my dreams with awareness, but the problem with that is that whenever you try to enter a dream with awareness, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I've done it before. I've entered dreams with awareness, and I've been able to, enter a dream from the beginning with awareness. But the problem with that is that it is very it is very hit and miss, at least for me, in order to do that. But it's also very much an uphill battle in order to sustain your awareness as you fall asleep, because typically whenever you fall asleep, your awareness is reduced. Your awareness is going down as you fall asleep. And so it's actually much easier, and it's much more effective if you try to catch yourself in the moments upon awakening, because you're not having to fight for awareness, because whenever you're waking up from a dream, your awareness is coming back online. So you're not having to put in any effort in order to necessarily become self-aware. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is that in those moments after awakening, you're already in that half awake, half asleep state. And so it is the perfect state, because you're already self-aware and you're in the half awake, half asleep state that you need in order to re-enter that out of body state. So that's the thing that I would say is very different about this method, as opposed to other methods where other people tend to focus on trying to enter the dream with awareness. They try to focus on trying to focus on something. Like for example, I would used to focus on a stress ball. I would have a stress ball that I would hold in my left hand as I fell asleep, and that gave me, some lucid dreams. But it also gave me insomnia. It also kept me awake a lot of times, and I would do a lot of other stuff. I would try to focus on the darkness behind my closed eyelids, and I would give myself insomnia. I would try to count from 1 to 100 repeatedly and stuff like that. So, but in my experience, trying to maintain your awareness into the dream, it is an uphill battle. It is something that is very difficult in order to do. And so it's actually much easier if you try to experiment with the liminal state in the moments after you wake up. And this is a method that is listed in this PDF that I found online about out-of-body experiences, where they talk about hypnopompic imagery, which, if you don't know what that is, you have hypnagogic imagery, which is the hallucinations that you get as you fall asleep, which is, like the bright flashes in eyes, the twitches in your legs, the hearing random voices and hearing noises and stuff like that. That is hypnagogic imagery. But hypnopompic imagery is that's the set of imagery that you get whenever you're awakening from a dream. And so that's a method that is listed as a way to go out of body in this PDF that I found. And another thing too is that there was this documentary that I watched on YouTube called The Phase. And there's this guy called Michael Raduga, and he talks about the phase. Like the phase is like an umbrella term for lucid dreaming, the out-of-body experience, near-death experiences, and stuff like that. Basically, he uses that as an umbrella term for like that altered state of consciousness. And one of the things that he talks about is that the best way to so-called enter the phase, to quote-unquote enter the phase, according to him, is to try to enter the phase directly in the moments upon awakening, right? Which is like, and in my personal experience, like all of my out-of-body experiences have come from trying to catch myself directly upon awakening. I've never gone out of body by trying to enter the dream with awareness. It's always that I've re-entered the dream. It's always that I've caught myself upon awakening, and I focus on the X-ray vision, which is something that would be something that I would naturally get at times. And that's how I discovered the method for me personally, is that, whenever I would wake up from a dream, a lot of times I would be able to see through my sleep mask, to, see my surroundings. I'd be able to see, my room. And a lot of times if I focused on the X-ray vision, if I focused on the sensations inside of my body, I'd be able to, sit up out of my body. I'd be able to leave my body. And so that is the best way, in my opinion, in order to go out of body, in order to try to enter that liminal state, is to do it upon awakening instead of trying to do it as you fall asleep. But yeah, like that's the method that I use in order to go out of body. Is I try to catch myself upon awakening. I try to focus on my eyesight. I try to see my room, my surroundings through closed eyelids, and there'll be some times where you won't necessarily see your surroundings. Sometimes you'll see into another dimension, which this is something that happened to me last night, where, whenever I did that sort of X-ray vision method, I actually saw like an office room. I saw like a meeting room, like an office room inside of an office building. I didn't see my room. I saw, like this other room in this sort of other dimension, and it felt like a tear inside of my sleep mask into another sort of reality. And so that is also something that can happen, is that you might see into another reality. You might see into like another dimension instead of seeing your local surroundings. This is something that I remember from a long time ago, is that whenever I started to get the X-ray vision as sort of like a natural thing, I wasn't even trying it as a technique. But one of the things that I remember is whenever I would get this as like a natural phenomena that I would sort of catch and notice, I remember seeing myself, performing on stage with like in this sort of stage with like red curtains, and yet again, it felt like a tear inside of my sleep mask. It felt like my sleep mask was like torn open, with like all the fabric and everything, and I was staring into another reality. And so, like that kind of stuff happens as you awaken from a dream. It's not something that happens as you enter a dream, because entering a dream, in my experience, is much more difficult. It's much more insomnia inducing than trying to, enter that state, in the moments upon awakening from a dream. So that's one of the things that I would say, that if I could go into a time machine, and if I could tell my past self stuff about astral projection, I would tell myself, focus on that X-ray vision, focus on trying to go out of body after you awaken from a dream. Stop trying to, stop giving yourself insomnia by trying to enter a dream with awareness. Try to exit your body after you, like directly after you awaken, because then you'll be in that liminal state. You'll be in that perfect state of consciousness in order to leave the body consciously. Right. And another thing that about this method that is really good is the fact that you're using your prospective memory. And if you don't know what prospective memory is the ability to remember to do something in the future. And this is something that lucid dreamers use in order to become aware in the middle of a dream. And I became aware in the middle of my dreams like twice last night. And I think that, like, I wasn't even trying to become aware in the middle of my dreams. I was trying to, I set my intention, after I wake up, throughout the night, I set my intention to, enter the X-ray vision and to try to, go out of body after I awaken, right? And so what you're doing there is that you're using your prospective memory. You're not trying to maintain, your present awareness necessarily. What you're trying to do is that you're trying to, do something in the future. And so I think that using that prospective memory to try to catch your X-ray vision, I think a lot of that might carry over into the middle of the dream, where instead of catching yourself in the moments upon awakening, you might catch yourself in the middle of a dream also. So that's another symptom of this technique that I've noticed, of the X-ray vision method, or of the hypnopompic method. That's another name for it. You might not necessarily get X-ray vision. You might get sensations. I think that your symptoms for going out of body may vary, from person to person. But that's personally one of the things that I've one of the things that I do is I focus specifically on eyesight. And if my eyesight and my vision of my local surroundings is clear enough, then if I do a physical movement, I'll move my astral body and I'll be able to separate from my physical body. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about dream stability, and like why I personally think that going out of body is better than trying lucid dreaming techniques, is because this is a problem that I've personally experienced a lot, which is basically that anytime that I would become aware inside of my dreams, anytime that I would become aware inside of my in the out of body state, it would be extremely difficult for me to maintain stability. Like my surroundings wouldn't be as stable. Like whenever I would become aware, inside of a dream, or inside of or in the out of body state, it would be very difficult for me to maintain the imagery of my surroundings, because and it does seem to be, and this is my theory as to why, like if you're just starting out in this sort of skill, like why is it difficult to maintain stability? Why is it difficult to stay in the dream after you become self-aware? And I think that one of the reasons why is that there is a certain level of energy. If you want to talk about it like an energy problem, like a problem with the energy body, staying outside of your body requires one level of energy, but being able to stay out of body and be self-aware is like a totally different level of energy, in my opinion. And I do think that being self-aware inside of the dream, it puts an energy strain onto your energy body. It puts like an energy there's like a different energy need, that is placed onto your energy body, onto your astral body. And I think that that's why it's difficult for like at first it's difficult. A lot of people talk about how it goes away with time. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it's almost like the astral body is sort of like a muscle. It's like a use it or lose it situation, where like the more used to that altered state you get, like the more used to it you get, the better you get at it. And a lot of people talk about how like that those dream stability problems go away with time. But me personally, I still have dream stability problems. I still have stability issues whenever I go out of my body. But I think that it is something where I think I need to just practice it more. I just need to practice, developing my energy body, because yet again, I do think that, going out of body requires one level of energy, which, we naturally do this every single night. We go out of body every single night. But being self-aware, being lucid inside of this out of body state, I think that that also requires a certain level of energy. And so I think that there is a different energy need, that your energy body needs to be developed in order to accommodate the energy needs of being out of body and being self-aware at the same time. And so I think that is one of the reasons why you should focus on astral projection instead of lucid dreaming, because you're working with your astral body, you're working with your energy body. And what you're doing is that you're developing that sort of rapport with your astral body. Yet again, it's like a use it or lose it situation. Like the more you use your astral senses, the more you feel the body vibrations, the more you hear like the noises, or you focus on this is something that I've experienced also, is like the ear ringing. Like I'll experience ringing in my ears whenever I try to separate from my body, or like whenever I have there was this one time where I had the X-ray vision. And one of the things that I did is I focused on the ringing inside of my ears, and it stabilized the X-ray vision for some reason. And I think that that energy interaction, that ability to interact with your astral body, that ability to interact sort of energetically with your astral body, like using your astral body, using your astral senses, I think it does sort of develop and grow it like a muscle, where like the more you enter that X-ray vision state, the more you experience the body vibrations, the more you experience the ear ringing, like the more developed your energy body will become, and your energy body will grow like a muscle in order to accommodate self-awareness and being out of body at the same time. And so that's my personal theory, and I might be right or wrong about it. I might be wrong about this, but that's my personal theory as to why dream stability and being able to stay out of body and have everything be stable, have your like your environment be stable. Like, well, why is that difficult at first? Is I think that becoming self-aware draws energy away from your energy body, and so I think that there's not as much energy that is available to keep yourself outside of your body, and I think that that's why it's almost like an atrophied muscle. It's like a muscle that you've never used before, and so like your energy body isn't as developed to accommodate both energy needs, and so like that's why the dreams end abruptly. That's why like you return to your body pretty quickly. And like I have been getting better about this, about like touching things in my surroundings and focusing on my vision, trying to touch my own, like trying to touch my torso, trying to clasp my hands together in order to stay out of body. I have been getting better about that, but that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about when it came to as far as like an astral projection tutorial, like how to go out of body, how to leave the body, and this is like the easiest way, in my opinion, in order to leave the body, because this is something that it provides tangible results. It provides something that you can work with, which is it's real sensory phenomena. You're working with your astral sight. You're working with physical sensations. You're not trying to necessarily do like the visualizations as you fall asleep. You're not trying to think really hard or to focus on like the stress ball like I did. You're not trying to focus really hard on something, and you're not keeping yourself awake. What you're doing is that you're working with something tangible. You're timing your efforts correctly in order to get that X-ray vision, in order to get those body vibrations, the body sensations, to the point where you're not trying as hard in order to get results, right? But yeah, I just wanted to make a video about astral projection because like last night I got that X-ray vision like 4 times, and I was able to get lucid inside of my dreams 2 times last night. Because of the fact that I was focusing on, catching myself upon awakening, just trying to catch myself upon awakening, trying to catch that X-ray vision. And so I do think that that is a very useful method, and it's a very easy method. Especially if you're starting out, if you want tangible results, if you're tired of giving yourself insomnia, if you're tired of, trying super hard and nothing ever happens, then try to focus on the hypnopompic state. Try to focus on that state that you get. Trying to focus on the liminal state in the moments after you awaken from a dream, because it's much easier to play around with. It's much easier to master that state than it is to try to enter a dream with awareness, because it's a lot easier to give yourself insomnia if you try to do it that way, right? But yeah, I just wanted to make a video about astral projection because I think that it is a really important skill to learn, and it is something that the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it is like a muscle. It is a use it or lose it thing. So the more you use your astral senses, the more you use your astral body, it'll grow like a muscle to accommodate your self-awareness, and it'll be easier for you to become self-aware in the out-of-body state. It'll be easier for you to stay out of body the more you do it, right? But yeah, that's the video.